Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. Welcome to Fightsticks of the Month for November of 2021. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, if this is your first Fightsticks of the Month video, welcome. Every month I go over the best of the best from Reddit Fightsticks. To have your fight stick or arcade stick or button box or leverless or whatever you really want to call it featured in one of these videos, it's relatively simple and straightforward. You just have to post it on Reddit Fightsticks. I go through this and maybe you'll get featured and maybe you won't. First up here, I'm going to be highlighting some first-time builds because it's always nice to have new members in the community, and this person's first-time build turned out amazing. They say beginners attempt to build their first B&B stick from Focus Attack. And taking a look at it here, it's nice, it's minimalistic and cheerful. I like the artwork, I like the design. It's very sleek, and I like the button colors on this. They tie in with everything extremely nicely, especially those last two buttons there that tie in with the dog on the far left, the little cheeks there. I like this one, it's cute. Now we go from cute to something a little bit more menacing, and check out this first serious build. I love the buttons on this, I love how they tie in with the artwork, I like the choice of metallic ball top here. And the artwork continues on throughout this stick, even on the bottom. This is an Espada as opposed to one of the B&B sticks here, and the end result is great. Now, if the first stick was too cheerful, the second one too menacing, maybe this one sits right in that middle in that happy place. I love the look of this TMNT custom B&B fight stick. One thing I want to point out here is that they used a very interesting dust washer that ties in incredibly nicely with the theme. And the buttons here are resembling each of the Ninja Turtles. I think this design turned out great. Last up here for the first timers, this person took a little bit different of an approach. Instead of using a pre-configured case, they decided to build their own stick here out of a different case. So if we take a look, they call it the Joker box. I think it's very well named for what it looks like here and what it is. I like the blood spatter for artwork. The purple, green, and red tie in extremely nicely. Taking a look at this at a different angle here, I think this was painted white. If I'm not mistaken, this box is a different color. I think it's just like a metal with some black here. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments below. But they did paint this one all together. Inside, the wiring isn't the cleanest, but at the same time, they did a pretty good job to try to clean it up as much as possible. And for a first-time build, this is pretty good. I can also see some LEDs in here as well as the controller for it. And if we take a look at some more pictures here, oh, they went with USB-C. Good choice. They do have LEDs to light up the buttons overall, which I do think is a nice touch. For this next group of sticks, I've highlighted them here because they're beautiful and cool in some way, shape, or form. I love the matte black look of this one. It's minimalistic yet extremely functional. We have a joystick here. It's a Sanwa joystick modded with an Auto V2, and it also has the hitbox style of layout, so you can use one or the other, or I guess both if you have three hands. This one turned out really nice. Next up here, I'm not quite sure if I've featured this stick before or one that was very similar to it, but nevertheless, here we are. So this one is Cowboy Bebop themed, the better version of Cowboy Bebop, the anime. Is that shots fired? I'm not quite sure. I like how the joystick is coming out of the gun here like a bullet. I like the hitbox cross-up style of layout. And one little, I don't want to call it an Easter egg, but one little cool fact about this stick is that the joystick is actually a Nobi bullet lever, so it's very fitting for this overall theme here. You can see the different tops available. If you have access to a 3D printer, this person here was kind enough to make an open source 3D printed fight stick. All of the files are free and available, and the stick turned out extremely nice. If you paired this with something like the Pico fighting board, or even the OSFRD and just modified the case a little bit here, you've got a completely open source stick and also one of the fastest sticks on the market. To be honest here, I'm not the biggest fan of the way this stick looks. I don't want to say ugly, I'll say maybe chaotic. It's kind of all over the place here, but that's not why I'm featuring it. I'm featuring it because it's extremely cool. It's got analog buttons on here. You don't see that very often at all. If you want to learn more, check out this Reddit post and ask some questions. And speaking of analog, we have an analog arcade stick that someone made for the N64 out of an N64 controller. So it is an official pad hack here. The joystick works the exact same as the analog stick on the controller. And I love how this one turned out. props to using that oak case that looks extremely clean. This is a really cool innovation. It's called the HitCade. It's a Nintendo Switch case, dock, and all button controller all in one. So if we take a look at the controls, first and foremost here, it does have that hitbox style of layout, but it's also got the WASD style. So you can use this button here for jump or this button here for jump, and that's a nice touch. On top of that, it looks like the Nintendo Switch plugs directly into the top of this thing. I don't know if the bottom of the Switch is getting cut off at all. I can't tell if the screen's getting cut off or not. But looking at the angles, there's also some grooves here, I guess, for some comfort. And if we look at some more pictures here, it looks like there's a wrist support of some sort, but I just don't see it on the final product. And on top of that, if we take a look at the bottom, there is where the Nintendo Switch goes, I guess, when you're not using it. So this is a really creative solution overall, and something I think some people might be interested in. Next up here, this stick is beautiful in so many ways. They call it the Skull Leader Limited Edition, full handmade art, golden lever special setup with PS5 custom wiring. And they say, I hope you like it. Well, the answer is yes. Yes, I very much do. This is beautiful. So if we take a look at the artwork here, we've got the black, we've got the gold, we've got the white, and that ties in very nicely with the golden lever to start out with, and also with the buttons that they chose to continue on the artwork through using those transparent buttons. If we take a look at the back here, the wiring on this one is incredibly clean. And even the coloring of the wiring goes with the overall theme. One of the things that I really appreciate that Bromance does here is actually continues on the artwork on the underside of the top panel. It gives a really cool 3D effect and helps really make this stick look robust. Here's a better shot of the underside of that top panel so you know what I'm talking about, and check out how clean this wiring is. Also, props to using the golden lever. That's pretty awesome here. There are a ton of photos of this thing. I recommend checking it out on Reddit Fightsticks. Now, continuing on the theme of beautiful artwork, and we have, well, this beautiful stick right here. So the artwork was commissioned for this. If we take a look, it's got the ball top. It does have that hitbox style of layout as well. It's got two different forms of controls, or I guess one really advanced form of controls like the other stick we saw earlier. This one turned out amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the artwork on the top and on the bottom. This is another matte black build. It's got a very loud case design here, and on the inside, well, that's where most of the beauty is. If you think the outside is nice for being minimalistic and just matte black here, check out the inside. The wiring incredibly nice, and you can see it looks like carbon fiber here. That's amazing. The woodworking on this fight stick is incredibly clean. They say complete with all new Brooks PS4, PC, PCB, and all new Sanwa buttons and joystick. Custom walnut washer to match the overall build. I love this one. It is beautiful. If we take a look here, the corners are extremely clean, and underside of it, it looks like a little bit of wood burning here, I think, in order just to show off their logo. But overall here, this one's fancy. And speaking of fancy, we've got a lot of fancy stuff going on with this one. First and foremost, the artwork is gorgeous. The inlays for the button to continue on the artwork was a great choice here. And the parts that were used in this stick. So if we take a look, it is a blunderbuss stick. It's using a Sanjukes V6 with a Shuriken PCB, Crown 202 buttons, and a Brook Pi Zero PCB. So the parts here are pretty darn good. The outside of this stick looks nice and clean, and well, I'm gonna say it looks fancy. And the inside of the stick, the wiring on this, holy smokes, this is beautiful. This stick here is ridiculously awesome. I'm gonna hit the play button and you'll see for yourself. We've got this floating, twirling amiibo right on the top of it. I love how it looks. We've got some custom button caps here. We've got some custom woodworking going on. The lever looks really nice. The dust washer looks great. This stick overall looks really cool. And that amiibo is floating there. It's twirling and floating. They say impractical, but they love it. I absolutely love this one. I think it's genius. I think it makes a lot of sense. And it's incredibly compact here. When they open this up, you can see on the inside, there's not much space at all. This is a very compact, very cool build. And there is that little thing that generates the floating amiibo on the top. I love this thing. Next up here, we have this Wu-Tang themed stick, and it's extremely clean. It's made by Buttercade here. If we take a look, there's also an extra button. So it looks like Buttercade sticks might be evolving here. If this has already been out for a while, let me know in the comments below. It might just be my first time noticing this, or maybe I've seen it and just forgotten. but it does look really good. And if we take a look, there's also the player LEDs right on the top here. On the bottom of this thing, also extremely clean. It's an etched foam. I think it's foam. If it's rubber, let me know in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure this is a foam pad. Last up here, before I get into the top 5 fight sticks of the month, this stick gets a special shout out. I didn't include it in the top 5. It should be in there, but I didn't because this one is a little bit different. And I've already done a video on this one as well as 2 others that were featured in the most intimidating fight stick project for Red Bull's Anakin, who is a Tekken player. I'll leave the video, both of them, in the description below. Feel free to check them out, the official Red Bull video as well as my video. And I might even throw in Johnny Fraze's video about this very build. A lot of effort went into this one, a lot of work, and a lot of special parts. I'd highly recommend checking out those videos because this thing is gorgeous. In 5th place, we have this gorgeous Operation Christmas Drop fight stick from Fightsticks Guy. This one I don't think is based off of the movie that came out last year. I think it's actually based off the real Operation Christmas Drop, which started out as a military humanitarian mission since 1952 and has continued on from there. If you want to learn more about it, you can head out to Wikipedia and check out some information on it. This is a really cool themed stick. There are some propellers on the bottom here, and I was a little bit concerned about these propellers if it's sitting in your lap, especially if they're motorized, but they're not motorized and they're fully removable, so that's a big plus. Overall, this stick is just straight up clean all the way around. It's got custom artwork, the metallic paint really pops, and you can't even see the seams from the woodworking. Great job. In 4th place here, we have another beautiful wooden stick. This one has a slightly different form factor. It does have a really nice paint job on it, some really nice artwork, and the artwork continues on through the buttons. The sides of this thing, though, are gorgeous. If we take a look at the sides here, the woodworking on this one, this would have been very difficult to do. As we move over to the inside of the stick, we can see the beauty continues. As you know, I'm a massive fan of clean wiring, and this stick here is no exception. I love the chunky cables. It probably makes things a heck of a lot easier just to wire things up and clean things up. The last thing I'm going to say about this stick, and it's one detail I almost missed, and that's each of these corners here. They go after a different card suit. We have diamonds, we have hearts, we have clubs, and we have spades. It's a nice touch. In 4th place here, we have another wooden fight stick. This one doesn't really have artwork on it, and it doesn't really need it. First and foremost, the appearance of it is really nice, but if we take a look at the functionality here, this one is something else. I'll press play on the video and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. We have a custom controller built into the left side of this. On the top and bottom, we have flaps. The bottom one is for the joystick. The top one is for the cable. That is amazing. There's also an analog joystick on it, and the buttons are custom. This one turned out beautiful. I'm a massive fan of ingenuity, and this stick is checking all of those boxes. In 2nd place here, we're taking a break from wooden sticks and taking a look at a metal one. This one is titled CV01, a fight stick inspired by VIP cars. The top of this one is extremely interesting. It's just bare metal. We've got some gamer finger buttons. We have an Odin here for the WASD layout, but the beauty of this, well, it does look really nice on the outside. I'm not knocking it at all. I think it looks amazing. But the true beauty of it is on the inside. It's a little hard to see in this picture, so we'll take a look at a few more here, but you can see copper pipes that are going throughout the length of this stick. It's very interesting. At first, when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's a neat design aspect. It kind of gives, I don't want to say a steampunk because they're going for a VIP car look, but at the same time here, when I really got to looking at it, this is incredible what they did. They used copper wiring for all of the buttons here. It probably took forever to design this case and wire it up. We've got actual copper wires. We've got copper pipes that we have some wires going through. This thing is insane. It's incredibly clean here, and I love the look of it. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, your fight stick of the month for November of 2021. This one is wooden, weird, highly innovational, and highly functional. I am not exactly quite sure what to call this thing. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. The case here is made out of old skateboard decks. We have joysticks, we've got a D-pad, and we've got some fight stick buttons. This is a hybrid of very weird proportions. Internally here, we can see exactly what's going on. The wood has been hollowed out for the buttons. I'm assuming this here is the spot for the PCB. It's very interesting to see, not only because it's innovative, but it's also very thin and portable. This would be pretty easy to drag around with you. Here's a better look at the analog sticks that were used, and since they are using analog sticks and actually part of a controller here, this thing is very versatile. Here's a better look at the bottom. It looks like most of this is covered with a foam pad here for some cushion and also for some grip. If you're playing with this on your lap, it's probably not going to be going anywhere, and also probably won't be that uncomfortable. I love the integrated controller here. I'm kind of curious to see how comfortable it actually is. I'm assuming it's probably okay. The D-pad here, I'm wondering how good it is. It's probably okay. On top of that, these buttons at the top here are raised, so you're not going to accidentally press them. We've got a hitbox cross-up style of layout also incorporated here. This looks very incredible. If you're trying to play a bunch of different games with one stick, one controller to try to rule them all, this might be the way to go. So congratulations to your Fight Stick of the Month winner for November of 2021. Now before I end this video, I want to point out we're not having a December Fight Sticks of the Month video. Instead, we're doing Fight Sticks of the Year. The stickies are back. Last year, we blew you away with an amazing judging panel, and this year is going to be no different. We've got some returning faces. We have some new faces. All of the details will be posted over on Reddit Fightsticks. And just like last year, all of the sticks up for awards will be completely community driven. That means you go over there, you nominate them, and then we judge them. Anyways, that is all I've got for this video. Let me know your thoughts on Fight Sticks of the Month for November in the comments below. And let me know your thoughts about Fight Sticks of the Year in the comments below as well. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.